Hi, welcome to the Israel First television program with myself, Martin Blackham, and with my wife, Nathalie Blackham. Great to be with you on this very special day. It's the Holocaust Remembrance Day, and we're bringing you this program live from Jerusalem, live from our studios here in Israel. So we welcome you today. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can contact us at the YouTube chat bar. If you're watching at a later date, then please do contact us as well. You can contact us at our email address of info@israelfirst.org. Well, let's get straight into the news, Natalie, with a program that brings you news. We bring you what's happening in Israel and up-to-date features from Israel, so to keep you informed about what's happening in the land. And it's Holocaust Remembrance Day, Memorial Day 2021. Israel is commemorating the victims of the Nazi genocide. Yad Vashem has designated the theme of this year's events to be the commemoration of the onset of the mass murder of European Jewry by the Nazi regime after its invasion of the Soviet Union. Israel will once again commemorate the greatest calamity to befall the Jewish people in 2,000 years, which started last night, Wednesday night, and Thursday today is the day when we're thinking about it, but when we had the siren today, we have the memorial siren goes off. The official state ceremony opened for two minutes. Yeah, the official state ceremony took place at 8 o'clock last night at Yad Vashem's Warsaw Ghetto Square on the Mount of Remembrance in Jerusalem, and was attended by President Reuven Rivlin, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Chief Rabbis Yitzhak Yosef and David Lau, and other dignitaries. This year's theme has been entitled "Until the Very Last Jew, 80 Years Since the Onset of Mass Annihilation" by Yad Vashem, marking the 80th anniversary of Operation Barbarossa, in which the Nazi Germany staged a surprise attack against Russia, the Soviet Union, in 1941 and occupied great areas of land of Western Europe where millions of Jews lived. It was following the invasion that the mass shootings committed by the Einsatzgruppen, other German soldiers and police forces, along with local collaborators, began across Eastern Europe. This continued into 1943, and some 1.5 million Jews were murdered. Jews were also murdered in similar operations in German-occupied Yugoslavian territory and by the Anatevsky regime on Romanian-occupied land. And there's an online exhibition at Yad Vashem commemorating this stage of the Holocaust entitled "The Onset of Mass Murder, the Fate of Jewish Families in 1941", highlights, and this particular thing they're doing at Yad Vashem highlights the stories of 12 Jewish families who were caught up in the Nazi invasion of Eastern Europe. During the state opening ceremony at Yad Vashem, 6 Holocaust survivors each lit a torch in memory of the more than 6 million victims of the Nazi genocide. And Natalie and I had the privilege today to attend a Holocaust Memorial event in Pisgat Ziv in the northern part of Jerusalem, and it was very moving.
With Inga Booth.
Very moving, yes, with Inga Booth, who runs a Holocaust survivors home in the north of Jerusalem. And
she's a very special woman because she's German, and she really had a call in her life to come here and help for the survivors.
Yeah.
And she's loved, and she loves them. It was really beautiful to see them together today.
Yeah, so we were with them. We were with survivors of the Holocaust, and very moving it was as well. Well,
and I tell you, they were singing. It was beautiful to see them. Like, it was before the ceremony. We had like breakfast together. And to see the vitality really that they have, and one started to sing for everybody, and there was really an amazing, beautiful friendship there.
Right, it was a great privilege, and if you're interested in helping Holocaust survivors, then do contact us, and we'll put you in touch with the right people where your donation will go straight to helping. Now, one of the things that's been concerning us and we'll be talking about today is this mass vaccine program, or so-called vaccine program in Israel. Now, a young Israeli woman has died of a heart inflammation after receiving the second vaccine shot. Sherelle Hillel was a healthy 22-year-old who received her second vaccination dose against COVID 2 weeks ago. Her sister Nofa told Israel's Channel 13 News Thursday evening, the 1st of April. That was last week. Sherelle Hillel reported feeling unwell after a second vaccination shot and said she was experiencing muscle pain. Her sister Nofa said, "I told her, take a painkiller, no help, tomorrow go to the doctor." However, sadly, Hillel's condition worsened and she began to have difficulty breathing and pains in her chest and was taken to Safed Ziv Medical Center. At the hospital, Hillel was diagnosed with myocarditis, inflammation of the heart muscle. According to Israel's Channel 13 News, there have been other cases of myocarditis among Israelis who've received both vaccine doses. Note that. Not anything else wrong with them. They've just received the vaccine. Now, Hillel sadly passed away. She died of it at Safed Ziv Medical Center. Ziv Medical Center said on the last day of hospitalization, a deterioration in her situation came about. Persistent heart rhythm disturbances developed that didn't respond to care and continued resuscitation, and she was pronounced dead. Just last month, the Israeli Health Ministry instructed hospitals in Israel to report any cases of heart inflammation among vaccinated people, not unvaccinated. After several such cases of this type happened close to receiving the vaccine, it was decided to put a specific focus on this issue. Unbelievable, Natalie, really. Tal Brosh, head of the infectious disease unit at Asula Medical Center in Ashdod, told Ynet News. So really very, very concerning, the effects that this so-called vaccine is having now.
No, but I wanted also to say, because today when we went to Inge booth with all the survivors survivors of the Holocaust, she's looking at, she was telling us that all of them have been pressurized to vaccine, and some didn't want to, but they were pressurized to be vaccinated. And for me, vaccinated, sorry. And when we say vaccinated, it's to take this genetic therapy, okay? And for me, it was like, they were like 10, 20 years old when they went to, when they were in the Holocaust. Some were from Ukraine, Russia, Germany, Yugoslavia, and again, you know, they have this vaccination, and Inge was telling us that one of the lady was not the same anymore since she had the vaccine.
Yeah, it's very concerning, and one of the big stories this week for you is the major loss of civil liberties in Israel, and vaccinated workers have been unable to return to work after Passover holiday. We just had the Passover celebration, and discrimination against those who are concerned about the safety of the experimental vaccination. Israeli companies such as Mobileye, Bezek International, Yes, which is the satellite company if you want to receive satellite television programs. Yes is the company that does that. Pelephone, hospitals like Hadassah Medical Center, many schools, and Israel's medical emergency service, United Hatzalah, will not allow, unbelievably, workers to return after Passover. Not only are we talking about a serious breach of civil liberties in Israel, but it also means a serious loss of income for Israelis who are unvaccinated and have already been affected, Natalie, coming through the financial difficulties of the lockdowns of Israel's COVID-19 restrictions. Two rights organizations, the Association for Civil Rights in Israel and the Workers' Hotline, said they've already received complaints from unvaccinated workers. The groups wrote a letter to the Attorney General demanding that he issue a clear opinion and state that under existing law, an employer may not demand information from workers regarding their vaccination status. Barak Cohen, a lawyer and social activist, raised more questions in a recent Facebook post. He said, to what degree is it appropriate to pressurize and coerce when the decision-making surrounding the vaccine is kept hidden in the dark and confidential, he wrote. In other words, that we don't really know all the background to the decision about this vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine, which they've been using in Israel. We don't really know all the ins and outs about, first of all, what it is, and secondly, we don't know all the ins and outs of how it's working and how the government's doing things. He wrote, he also pointed to the low public trust in the government and what he called the drug companies' huge financial interest. In other words, Pfizer and other companies stand to make a huge amount of money out of this so-called vaccine campaign.
And meanwhile, we know that there is like ivermectin and some other things who are working for, again, this virus. So if you take it as early as possible, and even ivermectin, even if you take it like when you're not bad, it's like you get better. So like you don't need these things. But we have to think, it's not just the vaccine. There is something behind the vaccine. There is a whole
control system.
There is a system which is put in place with the passport, which is the green passport, and they have your data. And there is something Machiavellic who is behind all these things, and we are trying to blow the shofar, how we say, to say like this is not right. There is more things, we might speak about it maybe next week, but there is a lot of things
It's an attack on freedom in every area of your life.
And first Israel, but it's coming also into the other countries.
You might not be having the problem where you are at the moment, but it's going to come everywhere, because it's first, as Nathalie was saying, we're having it in Israel, but first Israel first, like the name of the program, it's coming to every nation. And I was looking at the news from England, and there are already huge pressure on people to be vaccinated. People have contacted me and have told me that in schools in England there's a massive pressure for vaccination, and also to have this passport, to have this so-called green passport to allow you to travel. Now, one of the other issues is so all the issues really we can sum up with an attack on freedom. Mm-hmm. Your freedom is being taken away from you. Now, one of the freedoms of so important, an intrinsic freedom, and especially for a journalist, you'll recognize this, the freedom of free speech, the freedom to write what the truth is, the freedom to say what the truth is. Now, there's a serious attack on free speech in Israel on a dark day, and I believe it's a dark day for free speech in this country. Important American social media website Parler is now blocked in Israel. We can't get it here. Parler is the last free speech platform. Facebook has already, but unbelievably, blocked our page, and we can't get access to the Israel First television program page. By the way, if you've been following us on Facebook and wonder why we're not there, it's because we can't get on there because we're blocked from there. And we had Nathalie, we have like 15,000 people. It's not a small number of followers on Facebook, and will they give us any reason? No. So there's there is an attack in the world on free speech, and
they are using this system which is being put in place, which is the New World Order, you know that. Is like they are using all these platforms and they are working together.
And we need to emphasize about this green passport. We cannot emphasize enough about the serious issues. This is discrimination. Never in the history of a country has such a discrimination been. For example, in the past where there have been wars and things like that, and there have been rationing or whatever, this has been to everybody, not just to one part of the population. Now, Israel's green passport has raised a red flag about civil liberties. Listen to that, a red flag about civil liberties. Israel is still relentlessly pursuing the so-called Green Passport or Green Pass, requiring citizens to show proof of inoculation to go to hotels, gyms, concert venues and theatres. In fact, somebody, I saw the other day, somebody was stopped from going into McDonald's in Jerusalem. However, this system clearly discriminates against those who are concerned about this experimental vaccination and are not vaccinated, raising a red flag about civil liberties. Now listen to what some Americans have said about this. Jamie Morriga from the United States company Intel Solutions says, for those who don't want the vaccine or don't have access to it, a green passport can become discriminatory. It can also restrict our freedom, one of our fundamental rights. Cyber security threats, including hacking and privacy of medical and personal information, are also concerning. Ray Major from the United States company Sandag said, green passports may sound like a good idea, but it could lead to far-reaching social, ethical and economic ramifications. It can also be clearly seen as discriminatory. People who choose not to get vaccinated could be disproportionately excluded from large-scale events, travel and employment opportunities. And one of the things that has been very concerning on this Holocaust Memorial Day, Natalie, is that Holocaust Memorial survivors who have not vaccinated have been excluded from events. It could also restrict other behaviors as well. This could be taken further.
Now this is interesting because, you know, like yesterday I was going to a lecture of a rabbi and he was speaking about these things because we have few people here who are really concerned of what's happening here in Israel. And I was listening to him and I had some ideas and he was speaking about same ideas of what we're thinking. And he said something very wise. He said, you know, when it was the Holocaust, the people didn't know at that time that it was the Holocaust. So they have to think. And sometimes they thought that they were going in the train and they were going to a nice place, and after they were very hot and they were going to take a shower. And one Jewish man said, yes, they were pushing to go into the shower. Now, we can see what was happening now. But, you know, sometimes when it's right at the time, it's very hard to see and you have to have discernment and you have to have some alarm clock, yeah? And you have also ask questions like this and this and that. This does not compute. There is so many things who don't compute, and we really want to tell you, think.
Yeah.
Think for yourself.
It's very,
okay?
very important.
Think for yourself. Try to look at things. Don't go on Google. Google is cleaning everything. You have to go on other, how is it called? Search engine. Mm-hmm. But find some other search engine and go and look for yourself and try and do some research yourself that what we are saying is true. Don't just take it like that, but do your research too is so important.
And this is, let's just put the cards on the table. This is an experimental vaccine with mRNA, which is sending messages to the DNA, which has never been used before, ever.
It has been used on animals and
right,
the animals died.
It's never been used on humans before.
No.
And so it's experimental. It's being used very quickly on a very wide amount of people with no real knowledge of what's going to happen.
The doctors, now you know, again the same for the Holocaust, it was the health services who were targeted, and here is the same. And the doctors have to do the vaccine. If they don't want to do the vaccine, they are in a very, they have trouble. And also when they have people coming after the vaccine having some trouble, they don't even really know, you know that? I read the resume of doctors and they didn't know where to report, because there is always a channel usually to be able to report everything. And right
this
now...
This is side effects, to report side effects.
Yeah. And when you look at what's happening in the medical world now here in Israel, this is very scary.
Now, coming back just to finish off talking about the vaccine passport, Vera Sharav, who is a Holocaust survivor, says the green vaccination pass, Israel was the first country to introduce this. And what does it really mean? It's apartheid. It means the division of citizens. This is from a Holocaust survivor, which is very appropriate today on Holocaust Memorial Day. The division of citizens into the deserving and the degraded, those who do not deserve and those who should be rewarded. It is the abolition of democratic equality, compulsory vaccination through the back door. And she says it's entirely experimental, as we've been talking about, and really it's setting up a two-tier system. It is. We've already got a two-tier system. There's certain things that, even as we've come into the studio today, we cannot do if we go out of the door. There are certain activities, there are certain places you can't go, and it's getting more and more. Now, evidence of the Green Pass, you say, well, is this true? Because we've heard from other people that there isn't a problem. Well, evidence of the Green Pass, you can look this up on the internet. The discrimination in Israel comes in May, even with the arrival of the Royal Caribbean cruise ship at Haifa, where it will welcome its first guests, those with, guess what, the Green Pass. Anyone else who doesn't have a Green Pass will not be allowed to go on the cruise. It's really disgraceful, Nathalie. And this is cruises are for elderly people to go away, and they cannot even they can't even book a ticket unless they have a Green Pass. Now, another issue with this is that some people are comparing it, Nathalie, these vaccine passports, to the yellow stars of David. Political activists, including US politician Madison Cawthorn, a member, by the way, of the American Holocaust Memorial Council. Again, we're talking on Holocaust Memorial Day, are comparing the controversial vaccination passports to Nazi Germany, with many invoking the stars of David, which the Nazis forced the Jews to wear during the Holocaust. Protests have been made against vaccine passports, such as Israel's new Green Pass, which discriminates against those who are unvaccinated, who do not want to, for whatever reason, whether they're concerned or whatever, to receive the experimental vaccine, to go into hotels, restaurants, gyms. Now, this chap in North Carolina, Madison Cawthorn, says proposals like these smack of the 1940s Nazi Germany. This is somebody in North Carolina, congressman, saying, according to Fox News. Others tweeted that vaccine passports are comparable to the yellow stars that the Nazis forced Jews to wear in public that were inscribed with the word Jew. Are the vaccine passports going to be a yellow-shaped star sewn onto our clothes? The Libertarian Party of Kentucky tweeted on Monday. The Libertarian Party leader also tweeted that a vaccine passport are a complete and total violation of human liberty. This is a dictatorship. In Britain, Conservative, in the United Kingdom, for those who are watching from England, Conservative pundit James Denningpole tweeted, wouldn't it be better to just cut to the chase and give unvaccinated people yellow stars to sew prominently onto their clothes with unvaccinated? So, it's getting we're in a very dangerous situation now. Why is it so important? When in Revelation 13:17, I've talked about this before, about this whole issue. Revelation 13:17 says that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. It will not allow anyone to make a purchase to sell anything unless the person has the mark of the beast.
Now, so something now in Eilat, is like a green town or city, and is like China. There is cameras everywhere, and it's like a try is to see how it's working, and they are doing that already in Israel. It's really incredible. And now in China, I don't know if you heard about it, but they start to have a digital money. So again, you don't pay with your money anymore. You pay with your phone. And so everybody has to have a phone. Everybody is numbered. We are living in a very scary things. Now, when we say all of that, we can see a big problem, but we know also that we are coming into redemption, okay? And redemption is not just like there was the redemption. Okay, when you look at the first redemption, which was for the Jewish people from Egypt, okay, Moses had to confront the Pharaoh. which has power, Egyptian power, okay? And then when the Jewish people were going to have the land here, there was the Holocaust, which is because, you know, in the unseen world, they know certain things. And so they knew that it was coming. So there was the Holocaust at that time. But now, so it was like a redemption for the Jewish people to come back here in the land and start again anew. But now we are coming into the end of time redemption, the final redemption, which is for the world when the Messiah will come. And again, in the unseen realms, they know what's happening. And there is still this power of Egypt, Illuminati, Rosicrucian, Freemasonry. All these things is like with the power of Egypt, and they are trying. Okay, we know that at the end, the kingdom of the Lord will be of Adonai, will be the kingdom on this earth. But there is a fight about it. And so we need to know that. We need to go in our Bible and to read it. We need to go also, I've told you many times also to go in the Hebrew language to have teaching about these things, because there is keys in the Hebrew language that we don't have in all the other languages. We need to listen to Jewish people who have the right teaching, you know, like we have to join the Jewish people who love the Torah, because they have keys and they can show us things to really make us even more confident, because we know that the Messiah is coming. And I tell you, we are very close. We are coming very close to that. And things are happening here in Israel because of that.
Yeah, and we are sharing these things with you today so that you'll be informed, not just about what's happening in Israel, but what's happening in the world and how it can affect you and what you need to do. If you want to know more information about anything we've shared about today on the program, then please do email us at info@israelfirst.org. You can find out much more information about the program at our website, which is www.israelfirst.org. And remember, we're the program that looks at the land, the people, and the language.